Welcome back to another episode of TechEyeSpy, where we launch into the tech and businesses shaping our future, and occasionally indulge in some speculative fun. Today, we're tackling one of the most exciting companies in the world, a name that's as synonymous with innovation as it is with ambition, SpaceX. Now, yes, it's currently a private company, but what if one day it were to go public? So let's set the scene. SpaceX isn't just another aerospace company. It's a force of nature. It's a company that's landed rockets on drones in the middle of the ocean, launched satellites by the thousands, and even sent humans into orbit aboard its own spacecraft. And it's doing all of this with one bold mission: to make life multiplanetary. With no shares to buy, no ticker symbol to track, it's the perfect company for our speculative SWOT analysis techniques. So, what if? What if SpaceX went public? What if you, as an investor, could own a piece of the stars? Today, we're going to explore that hypothetical world with a full SWOT analysis. The strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and of course, the threats, as if SpaceX were listed on the stock market. So, strap in, grab your star charts, and let's blast off into this speculative journey. By the end, we'll not only understand the brilliance of SpaceX, but also uncover the challenges it might face as a hypothetical public entity. Ready? Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a bit of speculative fun, shall we? And play a game of what if, because eventually it may happen. Imagine, if you will, a world where SpaceX, the titan of private space exploration, went public. A publicly traded marvel on the NASDAQ, ticker SPX maybe, or even SPCX. Now, for the sake of a thought experiment, let's dive into the strengths of this potential investment juggernaut. SpaceX's core strength, the jewel in its interstellar crown, lies in its mission to make life multiplanetary. This isn't just a tagline, it's a technological North Star, inspiring a revolution in the aerospace industry. Elon Musk's visionary leadership has turned SpaceX from a scrappy startup into a company synonymous with innovation, pushing humanity closer to the stars. At the heart of its dominance is reusable rocket technology. The Falcon 9, the Falcon Heavy, and the upcoming Starship represent engineering feats that no competitor can match. By drastically reducing the cost of access to space, SpaceX is not only disrupting traditional aerospace, but also making dreams of commercial space travel feasible. Imagine investing in a company that turned a $62 million rocket launch into a commodity instead of a luxury. Then, there's Starship, a fully reusable spacecraft with the audacious goal of colonizing Mars. The technology here isn't just cutting edge, it's future-defining. Starship represents SpaceX's ultimate strength, its willingness to tackle the impossible. For investors, that means untapped markets, Mars colonization, lunar bases, interplanetary transport, all powered by SpaceX's proprietary tech. And let's not overlook Starlink, SpaceX's satellite internet project. With tens of thousands of satellites planned, Starlink's potential to dominate global broadband markets is astronomical. It could turn SpaceX into a communications powerhouse, generating revenue streams that would rival the most profitable telecom giants on Earth. SpaceX is a company built on the philosophy of first principles thinking. Its engineers aren't just iterating on what's been done before. They're rethinking the very fundamentals of aerospace engineering. This approach has enabled them to achieve what many thought was impossible: reusable rockets. Think about that for a moment. In an industry where rockets were essentially single-use, SpaceX turned them into the aerospace equivalent of an airplane: launch, land, refuel, and launch again. That's not just innovative, it's revolutionary. And who makes that possible? The engineering team, which represents the creme de la creme of global talent. SpaceX attracts some of the brightest minds in aerospace software and mechanical engineering. These aren't just employees. They're problem solvers working under immense pressure to meet audacious goals. The company's culture is infamous for its intensity, but that's precisely what fuels its success. Engineers are empowered to push boundaries, prototype rapidly, and embrace failure as a stepping stone to success. The results of this engineering excellence are everywhere, from the precision of Falcon 9's autonomous landings to the sheer scale of Starship. These accomplishments are a testament to a team that combines creativity with technical mastery. SpaceX's engineers don't just design rockets. They innovate propulsion systems, thermal shields, avionics, and manufacturing processes, often creating new technologies to solve problems no one else has dared to tackle. A particularly notable strength lies in vertical integration. Unlike traditional aerospace companies that rely heavily on subcontractors, SpaceX designs, tests, and manufactures most of its components in-house. This hands-on approach allows its engineers to iterate faster, control costs, and ensure unparalleled quality. It's the reason why SpaceX can deliver groundbreaking innovations at a fraction of the cost of its competitors. Then there's the open-loop communication culture at SpaceX, where hierarchy takes a back seat to ideas. Engineers, technicians, and even interns are encouraged to voice their thoughts if they believe it can solve a problem or improve a design. This collaborative ethos fosters an environment where innovation thrives and breakthroughs happen at an unprecedented pace. There are some unique elements engineered into the rocket, such as the fins. These fins are key to SpaceX's innovation in rocket reusability, enabling precision landings and reducing the cost of access to space. A technique that has led to many amateur rocketeers to try to replicate these at scale, and thanks to the open nature of SpaceX technology, a lot of them are succeeding. I would also include the simplification of the engines themselves, which have developed from complicated espresso machines of the first-generation Kestrel engines to the current Raptor engine, which wouldn't be out of place in a museum. The tactic of mass production and experimentation is the true strength of SpaceX. Let's not forget the engineers' role in mission execution. Each SpaceX launch is a symphony of engineering prowess. The precision required to calculate trajectories, synchronize systems, and ensure payload safety, all while meeting strict deadlines, is nothing short of extraordinary. Finally, there's the sheer brand power. SpaceX has become a household name synonymous with ambition and excellence. The prestige of partnering with NASA, the spectacle of live rocket landings, and the global fascination with Musk's every move give the company an aura few others can rival. With every successful launch, the company's reputation only improves. All right, we've basked in the brilliance of SpaceX's speculative strengths, but now it's time to pull out the magnifying glass and examine the cracks. The weaknesses that could make this hypothetical SPX stock wobble like a Falcon 9 on a day trip to Vegas. First, let's talk about the staggering cost of their ambition. SpaceX's mission to colonize Mars and make life multiplanetary is awe-inspiring, but it's also astronomically expensive. Developing cutting-edge technology like Starship, launching satellites for Starlinks, and maintaining reusable rocket fleets require a financial burn rate that could incinerate lesser companies. And since SpaceX isn't public, we can only speculate. But leaks suggest that the company operates on razor-thin margins despite its groundbreaking accomplishments. One major financial red flag, and our first contradiction, could be Starlink, which, while promising, is also a double-edged sword. To make Starlink globally viable, SpaceX needs to launch tens of thousands of satellites, build ground stations, and secure regulatory approval worldwide. The capital expenditure here is enormous. Reports suggest that even after significant investment, Starlink may struggle to achieve profitability in the short term due to high deployment costs and competition from terrestrial internet providers. Then there's the dependence on contracts. SpaceX generates significant revenue from NASA and US Department of Defense contracts. These government contracts are not guaranteed indefinitely, and political shifts or competitive bids from rivals like Blue Origin or Boeing could erode this revenue stream.
operational risks loom large too. SpaceX is known for its bold, high-stakes testing strategy, which is both a strength and a weakness. Exploding prototypes and missed deadlines are almost part of the company's DNA. While these failures are seen as learning opportunities internally, the optics of a botched Starship test or a delayed Starlink launch could spook investors and damage confidence. And let's not forget regulatory challenges. Space is an increasingly crowded domain, and the regulatory framework is evolving to keep up. SpaceX's Starlink satellites, for example, have faced criticism for contributing to orbital debris and light pollution. Stricter regulations could slow deployments, increase costs, or even block expansions in certain regions. Human capital dependency is another subtle weakness. The company's reliance on Elon Musk is a double-edged sword. His vision has brought SpaceX to the forefront, but his controversial public persona and involvement in multiple ventures, like Tesla and Neuralink, could become a liability. Investors might worry about whether SpaceX can maintain its momentum in a post-Musk world. This post-Musk world could also include his retirement on Mars, leading to many YouTube episodes titled, "What Next for SpaceX?" Lastly, let's speculate about competition and market volatility. SpaceX's success has inspired competitors, from national space programs to private players like Blue Origin and Rocket Lab. Rivals are advancing, and while SpaceX has a significant lead, it's not invincible. Market volatility, especially in industries like satellite internet and space tourism, could further strain resources.
So, let's tilt our heads skyward once again and ponder the boundless opportunities awaiting SpaceX. Should it one day decide to trade on the public stage? Because if the stars align, this company could become a financial behemoth with opportunities as vast as the cosmos. First, we have the commercial space sector, where SpaceX already dominates. Its Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets have revolutionized satellite deployment, offering lower costs and higher reliability than any competitor. With the growing demand for satellite launches, from Earth observation to telecom to defense, SpaceX is poised to capture a massive slice of this lucrative market. Estimates suggest the global space economy could hit $1 trillion by 2040, and SpaceX is primed to be a major player. Then there's Starlink, the crown jewel of SpaceX's diversification strategy. By deploying a constellation of tens of thousands of satellites, Starlink aims to deliver high-speed internet to every corner of the globe, from bustling cities to remote villages. The opportunity here is immense, a potential market of billions of users, particularly in underserved areas. If Starlink achieves profitability, it could generate tens of billions annually, transforming SpaceX into not just a space exploration company, but a global telecom giant. Now let's talk about space tourism. With Starship on the horizon, SpaceX is well positioned to capitalize on the growing appetite for commercial spaceflight. Trips to orbit, lunar flybys, and even Mars missions could open up entirely new revenue streams. Imagine a world where billionaires, celebrities, and eventually adventurous civilians pay millions to touch the stars. This isn't just a dream, it's a nascent industry that SpaceX is leading. Beyond tourism lies the opportunity for lunar and Mars colonization support services. SpaceX's Starship isn't just a rocket, it's the cornerstone of future interplanetary infrastructure. Governments, research institutions, and private companies will need logistics, transportation, and support for lunar bases or Mars outposts. SpaceX could become the primary contractor for these missions, raking in substantial revenue from partnerships and grants. And by substantial, we are talking potentially East India Company level of exclusive profits for at least a century or two. National security contracts are another lucrative avenue. SpaceX already works with the US Department of Defense, launching classified payloads and satellites. As space becomes an increasingly contested domain, SpaceX's reliable and cost-effective solutions could secure even more military contracts, solidifying its role as a key player in the burgeoning space defense sector. Let's not overlook the potential for mining and resource extraction in space. Asteroids rich in rare metals and minerals are within reach of SpaceX's technology. While this remains speculative, the economic potential of asteroid mining is staggering, potentially trillions of dollars worth of resources waiting to be tapped. If SpaceX enters this field, it could redefine industries on Earth. Finally, there's technology licensing and partnerships. The advanced tech SpaceX has developed, from reusable rockets to satellite communication systems, is itself a valuable asset. Licensing this technology or forming joint ventures with other aerospace or telecom giants could unlock additional revenue streams without requiring massive capital outlays. Ladies and gentlemen, we've soared through the stratosphere of strengths, braved the turbulence of weaknesses, and marveled at the cosmic opportunities for SpaceX. But now, we plunge into the darkness, the threats looming over this hypothetical SPX share listing. Because no venture, no matter how celestial, is without its perils. Let's start with competition, the most immediate threat. SpaceX may be the leader today, but rivals like Blue Origin, Rocket Lab, and even government programs are closing the gap. Blue Origin's New Glenn promises to challenge SpaceX's dominance in reusable rockets, while Rocket Lab is innovating with smaller, more agile launches. And don't forget China's growing space program, which could outpace SpaceX with massive state-backed resources, although their lack of launch etiquette for local residents could slow their pace given new Chinese leadership. But certainly the Chinese are the primary contender in the next century. A crowded market regardless of origin means thinner margins and fewer exclusive contracts. Next, we must address regulatory risks. As SpaceX expands its Starlink constellation and increases launch frequencies, it faces scrutiny from governments and environmental groups. Critics argue that Starlink satellites contribute to light pollution, interfere with astronomical research, and increase the risk of orbital debris collisions. Leading to cheesy Sandra Bullock films and stricter regulations or outright bans in key regions could stifle growth, delay deployments, or force costly redesigns. Geopolitical tensions add another layer of uncertainty. SpaceX's global ambitions, Starlink international contracts, and potential interplanetary ventures are deeply intertwined with global politics. Sanctions, trade wars, or conflicts involving key markets could disrupt operations. For example, if relations with China deteriorate further, SpaceX could lose access to critical rare earth materials needed for satellite production. Financial threats loom large. SpaceX's reliance on high capital expenditures makes it vulnerable to economic downturns or tightening credit markets. If global interest rates continue to rise, financing new projects like Starship or Starlink expansions could become prohibitively expensive. Additionally, Starlink, while promising, could face challenges reaching profitability. If the subscriber base doesn't scale as projected, or if operational costs balloon, it could become a financial sinkhole. Let's talk about technological risks. SpaceX's bold testing strategy is a double-edged sword. A catastrophic failure, whether it's a rocket explosion during a high-profile mission or a major Starlink outage, could damage the company's reputation and shake investor confidence. Dependence on cutting-edge, unproven technologies also increases the likelihood of costly setbacks. Dependence on Elon Musk remains a wild card. Musk is the face of SpaceX, the engine driving its vision. But his involvement in multiple ventures, Tesla, Neuralink, and the Boring Company, raises concerns about divided attention. Furthermore, Musk's controversial public persona and unpredictable tweets could lead to regulatory scrutiny or damage the brand's image. A post-Musk SpaceX might struggle to maintain its visionary momentum. Then there's the threat of overreach. SpaceX's ambitions, colonizing Mars, building a global internet network, pioneering space tourism, are unparalleled. But such grand goals can lead to resource dilution. Trying to do too much, too fast could stretch the company thin, resulting in missed deadlines, quality control issues, or outright project failures. Lastly, public perception and environmental concerns could become significant threats. Critics of the space industry often highlight its environmental footprint, from the emissions generated during launches to the risk of contributing to climate change. A shift in public opinion could lead to stricter environmental regulations, higher costs, or even resistance to expansion plans. What might its shares be worth? And could there be dividends in the stars for investors? First, we look at the valuation. SpaceX's private valuation is already sky high, orbiting around $150 billion, thanks to its dominance in launch services and the tantalizing potential of Starlink. If SpaceX went public, its IPO valuation could easily range between $150 billion and $200 billion, assuming they issued 500 million to 1 billion shares, which is a similar range that is to comparable IPOs like Tesla or Amazon. We could see a speculative share price range of $150 to $400 per share as a result. But wait, this isn't your average stock. SpaceX represents a rare combination of high growth, revolutionary technology, and speculative ambition. At the higher end of that range, the price reflects more than just the rockets and satellites. It reflects the dream of humanity becoming a multiplanetary species. So, expect significant overvaluations should it become a reality. Now, let's talk dividends. If SpaceX ever matures enough to share its profits with shareholders, with Starlink projected to generate billions in stable revenue, dividends could become viable in the future. Based on current revenue and a 20% profit margin, SpaceX could potentially pay out $720 million to $1.2 billion annually, assuming a 50% payout ratio. For the individual investor, that might mean a dividend of 72 cents to $1.20 per share annually. At a speculative share price of $150 to $400, that translates to a yield between 0.2% and 0.8%, modest but significant for a high-growth company. Of course, this all depends on how SpaceX balances reinvestment with rewarding its shareholders. Will the company prioritize colonizing Mars over paying dividends? Or will the steady cash flow from Starlink open the door for investor payouts? That's the billion-dollar question. In summary, if SpaceX ever went public, its shares would be among the most coveted in the market. SpaceX's strengths are undeniable. Its reusable rockets, groundbreaking technology, and visionary mission set it apart in a league of its own. It's not just an aerospace company. It's a cultural phenomenon and a technological powerhouse with the ability to disrupt multiple industries at once. Yet, its weaknesses are equally apparent. From razor-thin margins to operational risks and the sheer cost of its ambitions, the company walks a tightrope between bold innovation and financial vulnerability. The opportunities are staggering. SpaceX could redefine telecommunications with Starlink, dominate space tourism, lead lunar and Mars exploration, and even tap into the emerging markets of asteroid mining and space defense. If executed correctly, these opportunities could propel SpaceX into becoming one of the most valuable companies in history. But the threats cannot be ignored. Intense competition, regulatory hurdles, financial strains, and geopolitical challenges all loom large. And, of course, the company's reliance on its enigmatic founder, Elon Musk, adds a layer of unpredictability to an already volatile mix. In conclusion, SpaceX is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward proposition. Were it to go public, it would be a stock that inspires passion, stirs debates, and attracts both dreamers and skeptics in equal measure. For investors, it would represent a bet not just on rockets or profits, but on the future of humanity itself. And that, perhaps, is the true allure of SpaceX. Because to own a piece of it would feel like owning a piece of the stars. Well, that's all for this episode of TechEyeSpy, where we journeyed into the hypothetical world of SpaceX as a publicly traded company. I hope you've enjoyed this speculative analysis as much as I've enjoyed guiding you through the stars. If you found value in this exploration, or if you just love dreaming about the future of space exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribing, you're not just supporting the channel, you're joining a community of forward thinkers, dreamers, and tech enthusiasts who share a passion for innovation and investing. And hey, while you're at it, give this video a like, share it with someone who loves a good financial analysis, and ring that bell icon so you never miss an episode. There's plenty more content like this coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars, your feet on the ground, and your mind sharp as we continue uncovering the future, one analysis at a time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of TechEyeSpy. Take care.